Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Third Shift. This is episode 22. I, of course, am your host, Matt. With me, as always, my co-host, my good buddy, Eric. Eric, how's this week treating you, man?
Not very good, Matt. Once again.
Oh, gee, I can tell. Oh, why do you sound horrible?
Once again, Matt, I'm forced to be sick because my children, the monkeys, the plague bears, keep bringing home all of these wonderful plagues for me.
Awesome.
Yes. So, the last 3 days has been pretty hectic. I got sick. I got the wife sick. And then that first day, as you well know, I was having fever dreams. I was having hallucinations. I was throwing up. It was like The Exorcist, all over the place. And then it broke in the middle of the night, and then I was wide awake staring at the ceiling. And then these next few days, up to now, I have a completely plugged nose, so my normally nasally voice, as we all know, is even more nasally. How nasally can it get? Apparently even worse.
Don't make it worse. We'll lose subscribers, dude.
Yeah, it's true. Hey, I'm trying, man. I think they'd rather us have an episode and have some fun than nothing at all.
That's true. That's true.
Beyond that, the usual. We've been going out looking at Christmas lights and kids there loving it, getting them hot cocos, all the good stuff you do around Christmas time. I got my daughter going, "Daddy, it's Christmas tomorrow. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," every 5 seconds. Those of you with kids, you know what I'm talking about. So it's been a pretty leisurely week. I've gotten some video game time in. We did an epic Friday of some Battleborn.
Yes, we
and
did.
then moved over to Borderlands. And then we had one of our old buddies and listeners here.
No, I mean, what you mean to say is we found a whole bunch of legendaries on the ground.
Yeah,
a crap ton of legendaries. We just found them.
We were doing Tiny Tina's little mission there, and all of a sudden it was just like hundreds of legendaries just spewing from the earth.
Rained down.
Yeah.
It was some kind of weird glitch or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Couldn't have been nobody coming in and being like an angel-like figure or anything like that. Strange. Too many beers. I can't remember.
I don't. I just remember oranges just raining from the sky. That's all I remember.
But it was fun. We did a lot of great matches. Won every last one of them. And then we were like, let's go do Heliophage on hardcore. Boom, smashed it. Oh, yep, good times.
Got the trophy and everything.
Mm-hmm. Sure did. So pretty good week, even though I've been sick and miserable, I suppose. What about you?
It's been a super fun week at work. All the machines that I was working on have been ripped out over the past 2 weeks. So all this week was, let me stand around and look at the vendors while they hook up. They cobble together this Frankenstein monster of like 3 different companies' machines to try and get them to work. So it's been, 8 hours of stand around and stare at people. And, I have a job to run on this other one. Boop, boop. Oh, it's done. What should I do now? Should I stare at that guy or should I stare at this other guy? I'm going to stare at this other guy.
I'd stare at the other guy too, yeah.
Yeah.
And then look over at your other workmates there and watch them stare at the other guy. And then you stare at them staring at the other guy.
And then we walk together and we stand around and we go, oh, man, we sure are staring at these guys. Yep. Okay, well, hey, boss, let's stare at you for a minute. Awesome.
And then he says, get away from me. Yeah.
That's right. He usually says, go mop up that floor over there or something.
Chicago. If I said any better, I'd be triplets.
I wish he was still our boss.
That would be amazing.
Other than that, though, just normal video game week. Been getting in some Titanfall 2 with Player X, getting better at that game. Really, really enjoying that. And then, like you said, our Magical Friday, unstoppable in PvP on Battleborn. And yes, we had our jokes, but thank you to Sean Haggerty, our buddy 10K Beers on Twitter, who came and just rained legendaries down on us. I mean, although now I can't pick up any other guns because my bank is full and my inventory is full of just amazing legendaries. I can literally do nothing else.
Yeah, I was thinking. At first, I was like, I'm kind of sad about this because now I'm never gonna get anything else. And then I laughed and I said, Eric, you were never gonna get anything else in the first place.
That's true.
What are you crying about?
Yeah, instead of having a backpack full of legendaries, it would have been like whites and greens, maybe a blue, a purple if you opened up a golden key chest.
I gotta hoard those keys, man. I gotta keep all 700 of them.
And I'm down to 0, so we're like Laurel and Hardy here. Like, you got all the keys, I got no keys. I get all the loot, you get no loot.
It's wonderful.
It's awesome. Yeah, It's perfect. So in addition to all that fun this week, we of course did our Talented Tuesday art competition. Oh, you look like you got something to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, we got a little competition going around here. Some of you probably don't know about that. We got people trying to beat everybody to the punch these days. So old Matt here, the day after we announce over here, is trying to bust out his drawing, and that way nobody can snatch it up, and then leaving others high and dry with no ideas. And so they got to finagle their way through it. And I'll say, I came up with a pretty good idea. However, as Illidan would say, I was not prepared. I was at the wrong building without my wonderful coloring utensils, so I had to settle for a pen, and that made it tough as nails.
Well, see, I gave you the pro tip from the pro Matt of shading his hair and beard and his little skirt thing with a pencil to differentiate the colors a little bit. So hey, an art pro tip from the pro Matt. Look at that.
Oh my God, that's why I shouldn't listen to anything.
Yes,
I swear to God. I'd say, as always, Danny's was probably the coolest. And
I'd say that.
Because, she just can draw absolutely awesome. And so you're like, oh, well, that's really good. No, that's something Gearbox could actually put up on its site. And you're like, hey, look at this cool fan art.
Yeah, true.
And then ours are like the silly step cousins.
Yeah, but we always bring the 80s cartoon nostalgia, which I definitely did this week. Or like the, your Spy versus Spy, classic references. We bring a lot of that, even if we can't draw it very well.
True. So, as always, I think all three were pretty darn cool. The concept of mine I really enjoyed. I wish I would have had my, my coloring pencils. I'd have made it a little more snazzy, but I liked where I was going with it. And I enjoyed yours, of course, because you stole my idea. And that's okay, though. That's all right. It's fine, whatever.
So yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, we did Boulder this week. You can check out the preview versions on our Twitter account. Hit up the Instagram for the full versions. Next week's subject is going to be Whiskey Foxtrot. I got mine done on Tuesday as soon as Eric announced the theme. And you know what? I know what the theme is going to be for next week because it's my pick, and I got the picture ready. In fact, it was done months and months and months ago. So you can't beat that.
This is just it's getting out of hand. This is too much.
Now, see, I will say this is a different type of Talented Tuesday. This is not something I drew and kept in my back pocket. This is something that I did many moons ago. You'll see. Right. You probably already know what I'm talking about, but you'll see.
Well, I'm gonna pull some time cop out if you keep this crap up. I'm gonna come get you.
No, but see, you'll have to get me at work, and it'll be that one day you're at Candyland. Two bodies can't be in the same place at the same time. I'll push you in. You'll turn into that bubbly mush and then explode all over.
Well, as long as I'm all over you. Ooh, that was weird. Oh.
That was G Player X. I thought I was doing this podcast with Eric.
Dang it! He took over my body for a minute. Oh, he'd appreciate that too. Jeez,
you got to stop.
Never mind.
All right, solo podcast time. Goodbye, Eric. Anyway,
let me get back on track here. All right, back on track. I've got a few awesome. Hey, I was gonna say, excuse you, Matt. Whoa. That I too have a few awesome ideas coming up here for old Whiskey Foxtrot. And then in the banks, just so you know, I don't already have it drawn, but when we get to a particular character, I've got a spicy idea. So everybody out there, you keep your eyes peeled because there's going to be some awesome artwork in the future.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, how about this week in Gearbox, Eric? What do we got going on?
Well, first up, I saw a Penn Jillette thing going on. It was something about, it looks like it's a paid movie that you can buy, and it was supposed to be out as we're recording today, 12/15/2016.
It's like a little series, I think, because you can buy season 1 for like $12 or like $2 an episode.
Okay.
So I think it's like a mini series kind of deal.
So a whole series worth. And basically what he's doing, it's called Unlocked. And it's basically talking with different stars, different people in the video game business about how they got where they are, what the video game industry was and is today. So it looks pretty cool. I think the name's a little goofy, as we discussed a little bit. But I think where they're going with it and what they're trying to put behind it is pretty cool.
Like I said, it'll be like a little bit of a series, so it looks like maybe like Penn Jillette does one episode where he talks with, you know, like you said, game developers, how they got here, how they did that. From what it seemed like on the website, each episode is like a different famous person going around and talking to different people or immersing themselves in some different part of video game culture. Like I know Sean Astin is one of the hosts, Allison Hazlip is another one.
Zelda Williams.
Yep, Zelda Williams. It just flashed in my brain what it was she was going to be talking about. I totally blanked on it though. Oh, hers was like going to children's hospitals where they, you know, do therapy and you know, just kind of morale boosting with video games and trying to, you know, talking more about that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was particularly cool how she mentioned that a lot of hospitals are using video games to help children get through the pain because it takes their mind off of it and allows them to just, you know, immerse themselves in other worlds, other places, and have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Which is basically what it's all about in the first place. And the reason we bring this up, and it's related to Gearbox, was that Randy Pitchford himself is actually one of the individuals that's interviewed, and in an entire segment, he hosts all sorts of content creators, Cliff Blazinski among them, at his home, where Penn's doing interviews with everybody about, you know, how they met their wives, how they got in the video game business, all sorts of just fun questions that you may or may not have about your favorite content creators.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool. So like we said, the series is called Unlocked, The World of Video Games Revealed. Apparently you can check that out on Amazon, iTunes, Steam, Google Play, kind of all the, you know, the digital distribution services. So if it sounds interesting to you guys, go ahead and check it out, you know?
That's right. Check it out. I don't think there's any shift codes this week, nothing like that, right?
Nothing I saw. We got overdose of shift codes last week, so.
Yeah, they didn't announce Borderlands 3. They didn't say that was coming out next week or anything, right?
No, I didn't get a surprise announcement. Tales of the Borderlands 2 episodes 1 through 7, you know, just dropped in my inbox. No, nothing like that.
Well, that's gonna come though someday. Yeah.
A man can dream.
A man can dream. A man has ears. A man has eyes. A man has hands.
A man returns.
A man returns. Beautiful. So beyond that, you know, we're moving on to the battle plan. Mm-hmm. And the battle plan this week was, well, it was small. And the reason it was small is because, as I'm sure everyone has guessed by now, the holidays are hitting. That's a big thing. And secondly, and most importantly, they're really just pumping away at this winter update. You know, they're putting all their resources and all their cookies into what's to come here in the near future. And unfortunately, near future is probably January, if I took an educated guess. But we more specifically, Matt, has some hopes and dreams of something else, eh?
Just like I said, a man can dream. Like we said, further in the thread discussing the battle plan, somebody confirmed from some other different thread that the winter update is in certification right now. So, you know, basically whenever that gets done on that, you know, that end, whether it's Sony, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's, you know, whatever, then it could possibly come out at any point after that. It would be nice to dream, you know. They could drop it on a Thursday, you know, next Thursday. There's still one more before winter break. You never know. I mean, I don't have high hopes, but I have very, very short, little tiny man hopes.
Mm-hmm. Well, as was said, their hopes and dreams, they said, they'd love to get it to us before the holidays. However, with it being the holidays and any other mishaps that could come along, their expectations are that it'll probably be January sometime.
And I think that's definitely a bummer, just because, like we said over lunch, like anyone else I'm sure can think of, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, or, you know, there's at least a chance of a lot of people getting Battleborn for Christmas. So if you could drop this update, get all these cool new modes, get it looking slick, get it looking sharp, get it looking as polished as it could possibly be, it'd just be even better for when they boot up that game. Like, oh wow, look how slick this is. Look at all these things I never knew Battleborn had. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to play. Just boost up the community. Even if they don't stick around forever, there's at least that 2, 3, 4 week gap where everybody's just in there hooked, digging their hands into it, having fun.
That would have been great. And of course, holiday time. Naturally, the old kiddies have 2 weeks off from school, so
yeah,
man, that's just a great time to punch in a Battleborn and be rocking it out.
All the kiddies or all the adulties who get to take 2 weeks off, and
like school teachers and video game programmers and stuff. not us normal folk, but
we get a day off if we're lucky.
Yeah,
It's a hard knock life.
Hey, I dug this 10-foot hole, and I will stand in it.
It's true. It is my fault for rolling down the hill and into the ditch. So I guess I can't really complain.
So from the top of the battle plan, boys and girls.
So yeah, no hot fixes this week because everyone's busy, like we said. This battle plan was basically all community spotlight. Starting it off, we had a picture from Sergeant Fox on DeviantArt, little holiday picture for everybody. Up next, there were 2 ornaments that I thought were actually really cool from Isis Bella, I'm not sure, what the user's name is, but an Arendi and a Claptrap ornament that this person made. I thought they were pretty cool.
Oh, I was digging that Arendi one. I mean, I love Claptrap too, don't get me wrong, but
I was going to say, I was digging the Claptrap one.
I was like, I would love to have that Arendi ornament, but I'm not skilled enough to make such things.
Seeing that kind of stuff really makes me wish I was a crafty person in any way, shape, or form. Because it looks, when it's done, it looks pretty simple. I'm sure it's not, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, I could throw something together like that. No, I couldn't. I would get frustrated, rip up all the fabric, and then I would throw it in the trash can.
Yes, you would. I might be able to, see if my wife would like to make me one, though. Maybe.
There you go.
She might.
See, you've at least got an out. I can't do anything either, but I could make Amanda do it.
That's right.
Hey, man, I'll watch these kids if you make me a claptrap.
I'd cherish and love it. I promise.
And then Bob would break it when you take it to work.
Precisely, actually. Rest in peace, Happy. Rest in peace, my friend.
Pour one out for the homies.
Yeah, that's right. Goodness gracious. So yeah, they did a little bit of that, and then they moved on to the lore, which surprisingly was awesome and long.
Very long.
Yeah, you definitely had to take a minute out of your day there and go through it. But it had interaction from all sorts of characters talking about how they all celebrate the coming holidays and joking around. And I particularly like the part with Oscar Mike, as I've said, where it was, oh, yeah, this is, and then Nova's like 5 minutes, negligible conversation. I was just like, oh, poor Oscar Mike. Oh, man.
Well, I did love the UPR, was it Bright Universe Festival, the BUF Festival?
Oh, yes,
and then
fireworks.
You celebrate with the 3 Fs, and yeah. And then the ball breaking on the Jennerit. Oh, I bet. What do you do? You have like a big blood sport, a big gladiator battle. I bet it's got triangles in it, right? Triangles.
Yeah, that was the best line. He's like, oh, triangles. I was like, yes. I think overall, though, and this is a spoiler for all of you out there if you haven't already read it, but Phoebe's was awesome. So the LLC, we have a mandatory holiday the day of, and. Yeah, and then the day before, you can wear silver lining instead of a gold lining on your uniform. And I went, hey, that's where I work.
I was just going to say, that's literally like our job. Hey, you guys might get a jeans day and then one day off. But hey, if it snows 10 feet, your safety is really important to us. But the office is open, so,
You should be there. Amazing.
Oh, I love it.
So I was like, man, I must work for Phoebe. I'm going to have to go when we get to work tomorrow. I'm going to have to go check the roster and see if Phoebe's up top as a CEO or something, because
check the org chart.
I got confused for a second.
I mean, it is a big corporation. That's basically what they do,
Mm-hmm. So moving on before we get ourselves fired.
Nobody from the company listens to this.
Yeah, well, chances, right?
That's true. So yeah, other than that, it was just the coming up section in which they said that after the next battle plan, in which they said they'd talk a little bit more about details in the winter update, said after next week they're going to be off for 2 whole weeks. So after the break, the next battle plan will be on January 12th. So again, 2 weeks off must be nice, but we'll still have content for you guys because we're freaking amazing.
That's right. And so is Gearbox. Stop being a hater, Matt, just because they get some time off. Come on now.
Well, I don't hate the company. I just am envious.
Yeah,
I don't hate. It's envy.
Envy. Okay. That's better.
One of the deadly sins, but that's fine. You know, I don't care.
Yeah. And a quick shout out to the guys and gals over there at Gearbox. As you're listening to this, they will be having their holiday party. And, it's well-deserved. You guys have worked really hard on this game. And I'm glad that you guys keep to it and are keeping on, as old Joe Dirt would say, because I love it. I love the game, love you guys, and I want to see it succeed.
And I know we touched on it a little bit last episode, but I just want to reiterate that all the kind of changes that are coming in this next update are all, it really shows how much they love the game, how much they, are really listening to what everyone is saying about the game and what people want, putting in all the good time and the good effort to make it the best that it can be. So they really should be, celebrated for that and praised for that. And again, I'm not just saying that because I'm doing a podcast. It's a lot of work and it shows, and they're putting in the effort that they need to be doing. So props to them.
True story. So moving on, getting away from that and saying, this week, since there's not much in the way of the battle plan, we were going to talk a little bit about someone we skipped over last week because there was just so frickin' much, and that's Beatrix. You being the little snazzy pajazzo you are, got a little sneak peek, and we get to see a little nice picture of what her abilities look like, and of course what her skill set is, and all that other good stuff. So I say let's have a little chit chat.
All right, I'm just going to break it down like we do for the very intro of our character deep dives, because we've got the whole write-up here. And again, this is just what they showed off in the stream, so whatever build they're going off of, I'm sure any of this stuff could change. But Beatrix is listed as a Jennerit supporter. She's listed as a sniper, a controller, and advanced. The little write-up about her that we've got is, Beatrix is a scientist at Artificial Heart, and the battlefield is her laboratory. With her infectious injector, she can spread debilitating debuffs at range, while her allies act as carriers for contagions that enfeeble enemies they come in contact with. Nice little alliteration, like all through that last bit. Debilitating debuffs, carriers for contagions, enfeebling enemies. I don't know. I thought it was really nice.
Oh, yeah. No, it really gave a awesome theme to her, which is that of poisoning the hell out of everyone and everything around her. I'm curious, Matt, because she's got the injector.
Yep.
She's a sniper. I didn't expect that. I don't know why, but I think we've talked about it before. I was thinking more along the lines of she'd shoot out some goop, and it would, bleh, over an area, whereas it looks more like this needle's going to have, its own compact kit of poison, and she's going to shoot it like a dart, more or less.
Well, see, I remember, many, many moons ago when they were first talking about what the 30th character is going to be, and I remember them specifically saying she was going to be like a sniper character. And, obviously in the shuffle of all the other characters actually coming out, that totally got lost. But when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that. It was going to be a Jennerit sniper. And I was thinking, well, that's about right, because they don't have any kind of, real long-range characters that way. So, yeah, like you said, we were kind of thinking of it as a melee, type of stab somebody, or inject them somehow. But before we get too deep into that, I think we should get the canoe, because none of this that we're saying is actually real.
Yeah, you're right. You're right,
we better slide that canoe into the Speculation River. Take a little trip down to Conjecture Land.
I'm going to do my roll motions. Come on. Let's go on
right.
now.
I'm rowing under the desk here.
All right, I see the island. All right.
Spoosh.
Spoosh.
Cool. Oh, it's the gulls of Conjecture Land.
Oh, what a beautiful palm tree we're under. God. All right. I think we can talk again, Matt.
So yeah, I was thinking about this a lot as we were prepping for the show, and I was picturing it two ways. And one you totally just sparked me on is, she's got the giant syringe arm. Maybe she shoots out like little micro darts, like you were saying, to either poison or, inject or just do straight damage to enemies. What I was thinking of is she's got this giant repository. Maybe she can shoot out like little drips and drops from it. Maybe she's got a meter like Ambra's heat meter. Maybe she starts off with a full syringe, and each sniper shot, which I was picturing as something like, kind of like Isaac's energy blast, like a little pew pew, like a little red thing that would poison on contact maybe. And then like each one of those little shots would drain, just a touch out of her giant syringe. But she could also have an ability where, she just dumps the canister all along the ground, maybe in like a big wave or just like a big oval, to, spread across a lane or something. And then that would, drain that meter really quick. I don't know how you'd really fill it back up. Maybe just because if you attacked like a minion, they're all robots. So how would you get poison out of a robot? If you attacked players, but that'd be really specific. I don't know.
The more I think about it, I think you might be right in the like gel capsule form kind of deal, like drips.
Yeah.
Because it states that you could have the allies act as carriers for your poison. And so obviously if it was a needle, that kind of wouldn't make too much sense that you're stabbing your own allies. Hey, that's not out of the realm of Battleborn, I know. So I'm thinking you might be right. Like it's a drip, and if you shoot an ally with it instead of course, the enemy, it just puts like an aurora around them. And then when they get into a range of minions and or enemy Battleborn, then it just pops. And then boom, the poison spreads over to them and anybody else within the vicinity. I'm sure there's kind of up to 3, up to 1, up to 2. I don't know. But I'd imagine it can't be everything, because that would be kind of OP if it's like, hey, if,
just spreading all around the whole battlefield. Every minion's poison,
But I mean that just makes her really awesome, because she's a ranged character, but then she can give the poison to a melee, obviously, and he goes running in and just bleh. Pretty cool.
Now here's something else I was thinking about. We're kind of talking about the, her syringe being like her main attack, like shooting out drips and stuff. We haven't really thought about abilities per se, and we've got like 3 little icons here. One looks like a dude surrounded by red. It's like a figure surrounded by red. One is like some green swirly bits, and then the other, which I'm thinking is her alt, is like a big like purple bacteria thing. So what I'm picturing, and just let me run with it here, is maybe her actual attack. Maybe she's got like a long range pistol or something, like in what was that game, Rage? You had like the scope and the pistol. So maybe she's got like a couple shot pistol as her actual attack, but her abilities would be like she can shoot a dart or a drip at an enemy and poison them, kind of like Miko's base attack does. Would do initial damage and poison over time. Maybe that would be that red ability. Maybe the green one is you would run up and use the needle on your syringe arm to inject an ally, have them carry the poison in like a Pendle's miasma over to do poison damage to your targets, and then maybe that big purple bacteria looking thing is where she just dumps the whole syringe all over the ground, shuts down a lane with poison damage, slow, all that good stuff. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm wondering though, my screen's a little small here, but to me, that red one looks like almost a cross, like a healing cross, like a health cross.
It's got 2 legs on the bottom though.
Okay, my screen's not showing that, so I'm like looking at it and I'm like, that looks like a cross to me, more like a health cross.
Yeah, I can see kind of up at the top. I've got it like super zoomed in about as far as I can get it on my screen.
Okay, gotcha. Well, then that would make more sense. But I would think almost you should flip those around, because that third one with the purple, that's a parasite. So that one looks more like the ability in which you'd put on your ally, and then they'd go run up into the enemy territory and start spreading it everywhere. Whereas that green one, to me, looks more of just like a huge AoE cloud of, poison.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that too.
I think you're on the right track, but I think I'd switch those second 2 around. And that first one, I want to say you're right, because I think she's going to have some kind of secondary weapon, just because that injector can't just be an actual pistol. It'd kind of just be ridiculous. If I should say ridiculous, it might end up being cool, but
It would be like having a water gun fight with your buddies.
Yeah.
Like trying to shoot this liquid at you across this
all
big
over the
battlefield.
place. There's got to be some
Yeah.
sort of actual regular firearm or weapon of some kind that she's utilizing to do some solid regular damage. I mean, they've done that pretty much for every single character to date. So I don't see them making an exception here.
Well, I know the fourth one is, it looks like it's just the needle with a drip coming out of it. And then the other two I can't really make heads or tails out of. Like, one looks like she's got wings, one looks like she's pointing, and then there's like, I can't really tell. Those two don't make any sense to me. Plus it's blurry because it's just a screenshot anyway.
Yeah, but those are going to be her regular attacks, aren't they?
Should be like a passive, an attack, and maybe either a secondary attack or one of the talent abilities.
Those other two look like she's almost like she's using her body as a weapon, which would be completely no way because she's a sniper. It would make no sense if she's a melee character and a sniper.
Well, I was thinking about that when we were talking about weapons, and I'm like, well, maybe she just has like a sword, but the sniper part of it is she has the ability to shoot the disease or whatever across the battlefield or latch it onto somebody who's going to run across. So she would do a lot of stuff at long range, but that wouldn't be her primary attack and damage. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it'd be cool if she had more along the lines of Rendain's melee capabilities, where he's using those fans he has and he's kind of arching out. So he's not necessarily melee. He's kind of a mid-range character almost.
And his stuff pushes you back, which would let her throw more goop out at you further away.
More goop, more poisons, etc. Yeah. I think that would be the way to go. Plus, since they don't have Rendain as a playable character, this allows you to throw in someone that's similar.
Yeah, get yourself a little bit of Rendain action.
Get a little Jennerit action going there. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because I've always said from the word go, I wish they'd resurrect undead Rendain or something and bring him on in. Because, what a cool character.
That would definitely be cool. And then you could have him, be normal. I'm using quote fingers. You could have him have normal abilities. Like, he's not superpowered anymore because we had to resurrect him and bring him back, and so he lost all his advanced, whatever, this or that or the other thing.
And obviously, Sniper, we've already talked a bit about, where she's going to be shooting those out at range, trying to poison everybody and poison, and then, of course, attach it to the allies. And then they got her as a controller. And we're assuming that that's going to be the portion where she's laying down, and why we keep talking about it and thinking that's the case. She's going to be laying down those gobs of poison to shut lanes down, etc. Because that's generally, what controllers do. Obviously, shut lanes down or control a point. So it's either A, she's shooting out these gobs and stopping lanes, or, like you said, does a dump at her feet. And then, boom, on like capture the flag, boom, all of a sudden nobody's coming into alpha until that's gone.
Right.
That sort of thing. But what would be curious is, will she take damage? Like, so say it is a dump. Will she take damage from her own stuff? Or does she also have to leave? And then it's kind of just a, if you control it, obviously you're fine. But if you don't, now it's just like a no man's land of poison and doom.
Well, how about this? How about if you put the dump down and, it's talking about allies acting as carriers for the contagions. How about this, brainstorm, if you just dump it down and either it will stay down as poison, slow, whatever you want it to be, but if your allies run into it, they will basically, like, suck it up and become the carrier for it. So if you dump it down at your feet, you run out, but Boulder runs in, and then he runs in and engages on everybody else. He, the longer he stays in it, like 2 seconds or whatever, it'll come up and be like a miasma around him instead of being on the ground. Then he can rush in and be pushing people back because nobody wants to stand around him and get all gooped up.
Well, nobody wants the goop, However, it does state that she's going to be able to spread debilitating debuffs at range. So I don't know, it kind of veers away from it being at her feet. That makes it sound more like it's going to be a big dump across the battlefield, basically.
But it could still be that one dart ability to specifically poison or slow, and then another one be the big dump. And again, this is all total brainstorm. We don't know anything.
So beyond that, advanced character, so it's supposed to be hard to play, but I found that those don't mean too much to me. I feel like if you just pull up the character, play with the character a little bit, do some practicing, You can be good with anybody. It's all about just their play style and their abilities is how it comes down to what you're good or not good with. And speaking of getting some playtime in, we were going to bring up the old dojo and the incursion tutorial a little bit too, since they, at a later date, the 13th, released a little more information on that. And for that, I think we can go ahead and leave Conjecture Land, Matt.
I like it here, though.
I do too, because anything we say goes.
I like imagining what it could be.
It doesn't matter. Here it's a happy, free place. But you know what? We're going to come back here, Matt, because Christmas or the holiday season, whatever you prefer, is right around the corner.
That's true.
And I think we're just going to have some fun, because why the hell not? Before we leave Conjecture Land, Matt, what's going down?
Well, see, since obviously we've got to work all through all the holidays and all through the New Year breaks, what we thought we'd do is record a special episode for you guys with us just purely in Conjecture Land, doing a year-end wrap-up and then doing a Conjecture Land about the kind of stuff we think we'll see in the new year. So we also wanted to put the call out to you guys. Give us some feedback. What do you think is going to be happening with this game in the next year? What would you like to see? What do you think might happen? What in your wildest dreams could possibly happen? Just drop us a line, Facebook, Twitter, email, any of those usual methods. We'll compile all the responses. We'll read them on the show as we're throwing out our crazy ideas too. So just hop on in, join us in Conjecture Land. Get your own canoe.
Yeah, these palm trees are wonderful. The breeze, the shade. I'm thinking about getting a tiki bar out here. You guys are gonna love it. I promise.
I'm drinking out of a coconut with a straw right now. Straw noises.
So with that being said, however, I think we're going to hop back in those boats and we're going to row back on down to the real world and talk a little bit about the dojo and the incursion tutorial that are coming with the winter update. So we'll start with the incursion tutorial because that is a real straightforward one. Personally, I don't find that one that interesting because I've already played the game a ton and I know how to play incursion. I think it'll be nice for those obviously coming in new and fresh and hot. But basically what it is, it's going to put you into a hologram that's run by Nova, of course, and it's going to have a simulated one-step phase of we'll start with the incursion tutorial because there's not much we haven't already specified and told you guys about with that one. But they basically went on to say that it's a mini incursion, obviously, and the first time through you got to play solo, and it's going to have a dumbed-down Oscar Mike, which is really nice. So you're not going to play with anybody who should be able to defeat you in any way, shape, or form. I mean, regular Oscar Mike's dumb enough, but a dumbed-down Oscar Mike, holy mackerels.
Yeah, in the stream, the little video they showed of it, basically in the stream, the little video they showed, whoever it was that was playing was standing right in front of the Oscar Mike, and the Oscar Mike was turned to the side, shooting at the minions or the sentry or whatever. So this is definitely a super easy mode, just learn the ropes, don't have to worry about getting killed kind of deal.
Precisely, and they stated as soon as you go up to a buildable, Nova's going to stop and go, hey, this is a buildable, etc., and so on and so forth with everything that's in incursion. It's just a really easy way for you to hop in, learn about incursion without any stress or pressure. After you complete your first one, you'll be able to take up to 3 people in with you, your friends and buddies, and start learning team strats. And to boot, the best part on this is you might think, well, I don't want to go in there and waste my time. They are going to award a small amount of XP every time you complete a tutorial. So it won't be a complete waste of your time helping out a friend learn how to play Battleborn, even though it shouldn't be a waste of your time anyway, because the more the merrier, as we always say.
Exactly. I think they did specify, though, that you won't be able to do any kind of challenges, so no lore challenges, no in-game challenges when you're in this tutorial mode.
Yeah, they did state that, so sorry. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's fair. I mean, if you could just go in there and, hell, even I'd have them all if I could just go into a dojo or an incursion tutorial and do it. But moving on to the more interesting one is the dojo. And the dojo is purely a training room. You go in, it's contoured sort of like a meltdown map. They're going to have enemies come out, and then they're going to go across the little map towards a grinder. If they get in the grinder, they get points. You got to stop them before they get there. So, boom, it's teaching you how to play meltdown. Surprise, surprise. Awesome. But it's got nice little, ledges, other things in there, so that way you can take any character in there and you can just learn how to use them. You can jump around if you're Benedict, learn how to control the flight mode, etc., etc. there will be no XP or anything rewarded for that. So this is purely for training. Now, the really cool part that I don't think they talked about last time was that in dojo mode, all Battleborn characters are unlocked, regardless of whether you have them or not. So if you're like, man, I kind of want Alani, but I don't know, go in the dojo, test her out. Holy crap, she is powerful. Boom, go buy her. I think that is awesome because it's the perfect example of play to pay.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
But that was the one thing I took from that was additional to what they've already talked about.
I think that'll definitely be helpful for new players, especially, in the new winter update, they're going to unlock all the base characters. But like I've said before, when you start playing as characters, you understand how to counter them better when you face them in an actual versus match. So for someone like Howard, who says he's never going to buy anything additional with the game ever, he can at least go in, play as Alani, learn what she does, play as Pendles, learn what he does. Then if you face him in a multiplayer match, now you know what to expect. Especially for me, you know the tells. Like I said with Galilea with her shield up. I never noticed that before until I played as Galilea. Oh, I'm going to do the shield throw. The shield comes up. Now I see a Galilea running around with her arm up in the air. I'm jumping and moon jumping out of the way. So being able to learn those kind of things before you need to know them in a multiplayer match will definitely help people out.
And then just a side note, the enemies in there, they will get a tougher level as you kill them. So you can be in there longer and longer and longer, and then obviously you're going to get your Helix abilities up, all the your gear up that you're trying to test out. So you'll really be able to test your metal against these minion bots. So I think overall that'll be a really cool mode, as I already stated last week. Looking forward to that one because there's some characters, that I just really don't want to go mess around with live because of how sad I'm going to be when I'm getting curb stomped. And I think the dojo would be that perfect place where, hey, Eric, you need to learn this guy or gal. Suck it up, Buttercup. Well, all right, I'll go in the dojo and nobody can laugh at me or make me want to break my controller. Yeah. This is great. So that's gonna solve all my problems for the few characters I've sat aside and just stare at and cry tears. I love you, Kelvin. Someday. Someday.
So yeah, does that whet you guys' appetite a little bit more? Let us know. Send us your feedback. Uh-oh, I said it. Time for the mailbag.
You said it. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Wow. Hey, brought it back. Got
That's
that little
right.
ditty. I like it.
So this question comes to us from our buddy Jozos, at Jozos on Twitter. He asks, in the pick ban draft mode, what characters will you consider banning regardless of the map/mode?
Ooh, I'll go.
Yeah,
You want me to go? You ready? Boulder, Umbra. Boom, done.
Why, Eric? Why?
Game, set, match. I don't even have to explain it. Everybody knows. Everybody agrees. Actually, funny story is I'm, being stupid a little bit, but I did read today in the forums, coincidentally, Boulder actually is already banned in most scrims because he's just too powerful. I mean, you put a healer with him, and he just cannot die. So it's just silly. He's not really balanced correctly for, competitive, in my opinion. Obviously, somebody will say I'm stupid. They hate me, but that's fine.
Well, you're stupid and I hate you because if you face off with somebody who's got a stun like a Galilea, then you can kill him. You just stun him. Then he can't do anything. You jump over his boulder dash, and you stun him, and then everybody piles on him, and he's dead.
That's a very coordinated team, and it's possible. You're right. However, generally speaking, it's not what happens ever at all.
I was going to say, in Scrubland, no, that doesn't ever happen. I'll agree with you.
And Umbra is just too OP. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I try not to do it with everybody, but she just really is. She can go in, she can wreck shop as a DPS, and then back off and heal herself. And I think that's just kind of ridiculous because I'll be playing Phoebe, and I'll go in and I'm busting her up real good, but she's also busting me up real good. And then, okay, well, that's fine. Fine, we'll go toe-to-toe. Oh, no, it's not toe-to-toe because all of a sudden, look, I'm back at full health. Where's your health, Phoebe? Well, I can go ahead and phase gate, and I got my shield back. Oh, but you anticipated that, and you'd already got your little trickery on me. Zippity-zappity-boo. And my stupid shield doesn't come back because obviously I'm taking damage, and then I'm dead. Meanwhile, what little health I had already had still on you is completely healed because of your wonderful sunspots, etc. It's ridiculous. I don't think as a healer she should be able to go toe-to-toe DPS and have also the healing capability that she does.
I think this is another aspect of Scrubville. I'll grant you, we've been in matches with Umbras that just decimate us, like nobody's business. But it's usually because their whole minion wave's there, half their team is there, our team is nowhere to be found. It's you and me and Umbra, and then they've got their Boulder or Montana or Whiskey Foxtrot backing them up. And we try and go ham on her, and everyone else is bouncing us around. The minions are in there, and we get too bloodthirsty. So I don't think one-on-one in just that open lane with nobody else touching you, I think you're still taking her out. But I think it's just the quicksand of haggardness that we're mired in that makes her seem way more overpowered than she actually is.
You may be right, but you know what? I'm drowning in that quicksand.
I was going to say, you're going under either way. So
I'm going to throw out whatever rope I can. I don't care where that rope goes. If it can get me out, I'm getting out. So that'd be my picks. That'd be my two. Umbra and Boulder, I think, are the two that come immediately to my head that I just don't feel like I'm capable of getting rid of without some kind of coordinated team or help at all times.
It's really hard to say that there would be someone I would ban outright in any mode, because the only one that really came to mind when we first got the question was maybe Pendles, because Pendles is really annoying. He's not really so much like take over the game, destructive, but he's always just damn annoying. He's either killing my turrets, killing my buildables, or he's just, if he's good, he's picking me off as I'm trying to run back to base. But at the same time, in capture and in face-off, I love playing Pendles. So I don't want to ban him because I want to pick him. But I would say Pendles would probably be my first one. My second one, I think, would have to be, even though I don't think she's super overpowered, would probably be Galilea, just because she can do so much stuff that just having her out of the equation, I'd rather face off against like a Wrath, where he can do crazy damage, and he can knock you up and silence you, but that's, at once he can knock you up and silence you, but that's really all he's got going for him, versus, he can shield throw, stun you, he can pull you away, he can poison you, he can just put up...
Galilea is a woman.
No, I'm saying...
You're trying to say that Galilea is a man, and she has breasts.
What I'm trying to say is...
So unless it's a he, she, which transgender, that's perfectly fine, Matt. We're not discriminating here. And she does have like a black-purple face, so, I don't know.
What I was trying to say is Wrath can only do one thing, instead of him being able to do this, do this, do that, do this. All right, I'll just redo it. I'd rather face off against a Wrath, because the worst he can do is do a lot of damage, knock you up and silence you all at once. That's really all about he's got going for him. Versus Galilea, who can stun you, she can pull you off of a point with her suction, she can poison you, she can throw up a shield and take no damage for a good amount of time. It's just, I don't have a ton of problems when I face a Galilea, but she's so versatile that she can be really frustrating, especially in a mode like Capture. I really want to get this Galilea off the point. I can't. She's doing too much stuff. I want to get her away from this Varelsi camp and face off, or get her away from, the turn-in spot. I can't. Now I'm stunned. Now everyone's jumping on me. Now I'm dead. Blah, 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 blah. I think those two would be my picks, not because they in themselves are too overpowered, but they just would be too annoying to deal with.
Well, I think overall it comes to, like you said, I don't think I'd get rid of anybody because, as you pointed out with my picks, if you're coordinated, if you're figuring things out, you can overcome the situation. You just have to pick different characters to make sure you're mindful of what they're able to do.
And especially because we're talking about draft mode, you'll be able to see everybody's picks. So if you see someone pick a Boulder, you're going to pick some stuns, you're going to pick some slows, some poisons, some debilitating stuff.
Heck yeah.
If you guys have any questions for us, as always, you can email us at info@thirdshift.me. You can find us on Twitter. We're ThirdShiftMe. That's ThirdShiftME. And you can find us on Facebook under Third Shift.
As always, we love and thank each and every one of you for listening to this wonderful podcast each and every week. And if this is your first week, we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you come back. We're going to keep on making this sucker every week. And we want to thank Joe Harrington this week. He went ahead and hooked us up on the old Patreon, which we got set up. And we give a big shout-out to you, and, of course, a continued shout-out to those who have supported us and continue to support us in the past. It's, just a tip jar, as I say every week. No big deal. We're still bringing this wonderful thing to you each and every week.
This show drops every Friday, so we'll see you guys again on the 23rd for our magical Christmas episode. You can find the show on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podomatic. We're on YouTube. We're on Google Play Music. We're all over the place. So if you like what we do, please give us a like, a favorite, a subscription, or a rating on any one of those services, because we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and like I said last week, Matt, iTunes is super important, and you have to rate us with 5 stars on that one, because then we'll go to the top. It will be amazing.
Number 1 podcast in the world. Off to the moon.
That's right. That's right. There we go.
Oh.
I will do it every week. I love it. All right. Well, hey, it's been great. We hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry about the nasally voice. Hopefully next week I'll be better and the world will go back to normal.
Here's open.
Shut up. With that,
don't forget to
save. Asshole.
Shut up and sit down.